Welcome to the Mind Body Podcast, your rebellious podcast about a strong body, calm mind, healing, and fully living. I'm your host, Maria Angelova, creator of the Angelova Method, an integrative approach to mind and body connection. The Angelova Method redefines your success equation to include a healthy body and a healthy mind. Hi, Rebels. Welcome to the Mind Body Podcast, your rebellious podcast with me, your host, Maria, where it is all about a strong body, calm mind, healing, and fully living. And today, our special guest is Natalie Kehren. Hello, Natalie. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am great. I'm excited you're here and we get to chat.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here too. I'm honored to be on this podcast with you.
Very cool. So, Natalie, you are a certified natural health practitioner and spiritual energy specialist. And I want to talk about that. But before we dive into all the juicy stuff, let's get to know who Natalie is. Give us 3 words that describe you and a little bit of a backstory behind each word.
Oh, 3 words to describe me. Well, I have a lot of earth signs in me, so I'm pretty grounded. I love adventure, and I'm intentional with everything I do.
I love it. Intention is one of my favorite words. I do think as a humans, we have become so unintentional about anything and everything that we do. And it's such a game changer when you can add intention into everyday life and into the little things.
Yeah, it actually is an energetic game changer in so many ways. I can get into that a little bit more, but it really does shift your entire life, your energy field as well. So intention is the name of the game.
Game changer. So actually, I love to talk about energy. I love to talk about vibes. I love to talk about vibing on the same length. I love to talk about law of attraction and like attracts likes. Let's dive right in. Let's hear it from you. Why does energy matter? And how is intention tied to how we can be in charge of our own energy?
Yeah. So when we are in, I don't want to use the word control because it's kind of not really the essence of what's behind it. When we are super intentional, we're able to very positively palpate, manipulate the energy around us. So we are constantly receiving, we're a magnet, and we're constantly giving. So that receivership and giving has to be in really beautiful balance. But with that, when you set intentions and you really get clear on what you want your day to look like, doing that every morning, or how you want your meal to digest. If everything is energy, then that means that we have the ability to really dive deep and manipulate it. And that's not a negative word. It just means changing the form or shape into how we want to align with it. And when we do that more, and when we're more intentional and we do that every day, with small things to big things, our whole life starts to sort of align with us and our energy field as well. So it's a super powerful practice, and it's behind a lot of what I do with myself and my clients.
And you threw in there, perhaps intentionally, another cool word that I love to talk about, and that's alignment. And I do a lot of work around physical alignment, but with the physical alignment comes also our emotional alignment, our mental alignment, our spiritual alignment whenever we are ready for that. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of alignment. And I think for a lot of people who have not experienced alignment, sometimes when I talk about it, it's like that hypothetical thing out there. In your words, how do you explain to people what does being in alignment, especially with yourself, means? Because I don't think we are really taught to do that, to be in alignment with who we are.
Oh no, I believe we're not taught at all about this type of stuff. And I think it's the missing key, the golden missing piece of the puzzle that we all need to be educated in and supported in. So alignment to me and the work that I do is when everything in your life, there is a clear path, you have clarity of mind, heart, body, soul, spirit, and everything is really in ease and flow in your everyday. I mean, you're going to have hiccups. This is also planet Earth and we are also human, but it's how easily we shift back into alignment and how fast that is. So almost like a bouncy ball, just that really quick, like, oh, little hiccup, and then we go right back into alignment. And that's where using intentions come in and so many other things. And it's interesting that you have focused on physical alignment because it's such an important and valuable part of the whole holistic realm of who we are. So my background in holistic health is really embodying the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual side of what alignment means, and working together as a whole to bring full transformation and full healing that is permanent. It's not like you're going to fall back, or you have to start all over again. It really, when you look at it from a holistic point of view and you tackle it from all those angles at one time, and if you're ready for that type of commitment, your entire life will change. And I know that firsthand because that's exactly what I did for myself.
Yeah. And I think, and again, keyword, when you're ready for it,
Oh
because
gosh.
you have to be ready. And I always tell people, once you get a taste of that transformation and change, there is like no going backwards to where you were in that box and soundly asleep, settling for the aches and pains and the hamster wheel and all that stuff, that it's kind of like how we're conditioned to be.
Yeah, just conditioned to have back pain every day, or conditioned to have an overwhelming sense of heaviness that we don't even know is there. I always like to put it in a metaphor of like a piece of luggage that we're carrying around with us, and it's so, so heavy, full of stuff. It's like, when do we turn around, and when are we taught to turn around to unpack that? We just keep shoving everything in there. And then, one day when you're ready, it's great to open it up and sift through it, because what's stored in that luggage is actually what you magnetize to yourself. So, and people talk about the law of attraction, and so alignment and being in the law of attraction, if you're in alignment, then that means that you're magnetizing the same things that are in your alignment and in your frequency to you. This is how energy works. It's a law of energy. So when we're super aligned, that's when we have ease and flow in our life. But what most people aren't shared or taught or shared on social media or wherever you're picking up your information is that you also attract everything that's in your subconscious. And if it's subconscious and it's asleep and you don't know it's there, then you're like, wait a second, I thought I dealt with this, but like clearly they're still I just attracted this relationship, and I don't know why I attracted. I get this question all the time, and I don't know why it's another failed relationship or another relationship that's toxic. I don't understand. So this is where my work comes in, is going through that whole luggage to really clean out. It's like a whole release and cleansing process that happens so that you're in full alignment and you really elevate. And we are conditioned to evolve. That's at the seed of our DNA, to evolve. So and DNA is a very quantum and spiritual thing as well, that I think science is now diving into a lot more, which is super cool. And yeah, so clean that all out and you'll be in living the life of your dreams. That's what I help people do.
You threw in again another great word, and that's the word awareness, because I think we go through life so unaware. And I'll tell you, my journey of awakening started happening close to my 40s, and I was honor student. I had my education, I've done well in corporate, like I thought I've got it together. And once I started uncovering what's underneath and all of those subconscious beliefs, and today actually I taught one of my first mindset seminars that I went to. I remember them talking about your childhood and what your experience is. And I remember going to the mentor and I was like, listen, I've got none of that stuff going on. I'm good there. And now when I think about it, I'm like, wow, I'm like, how many people does he interact like that who are like, I don't have any of that going on, right? Because I was never taught to look inside. I was never taught to be aware of what are the type of the things that I believe, what are my patterns, what are my experiences, and the stories that I have written based on those experiences, which is exactly what you're talking about, the subconscious. And we go through life and we're like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. Yeah. And it's because I tell clients, look at your results in your life. What are the results in your life telling you? So if something is consistently occurring, if something is consistently happening, if something is not moving forward, what is the underlying belief that's there? And it takes that. And, from my experience, tell me if you agree, it's not like one day it's not there, the next day it's like you've got the full clear picture.
Oh, no.
It's a process that you go to. And it's almost like, I like to use the analogy of peeling an onion. Like you take a layer off, and then you have like these aha moments that are like, oh my gosh, how did I not know this about myself?
Yeah, there's so many incredible practices to do to really gift you with more awareness of your sense of self. But of course, not many people are. How many of us are taught, the voices the voices of our parents or caregivers become our voices. So how many caregivers are out there because they weren't taught, look inward. What does your intuition say? Check in with yourself. That's not really taught. So, and lots of people are walking around, without self-awareness because it was never a taught thing, when it's really the true nature of who we are. And where awareness is key to transformation, to healing, to changing the repetitive patterns in your body that keep repeating themselves, because energy loves patterns. It will lock into a pattern. And the beautiful part about this is that if we are aware of sort of patterns that are holding us back, which come with inner voices and come with a felt sense feeling, that are trapped in the subconscious, once we take that pattern out, observe the pattern, figure out what's going on with it, rewire it and change it intentionally and with awareness every day in practice, because it's not overnight, we recreate those neuroplasticities, we recreate a new energetic pattern, and then that pattern locks into place. So once you get through the process, it's really smooth sailing, because you have that energy pattern working in your favor now, but now you're in control of what you want to tell yourself as opposed to what was given to you.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. I can tell you, pretty much every person I work with, they're like, why is nobody teaching us any of this stuff?
Yeah.
The awareness starts kicking in and they realize how much awareness was lacking, and what a game changer that awareness, simple awareness, can be. And that's what I tell people. If you want to work with me, this is not going to be an overnight miracle process. It is a process that you have to consistently do, because we are reprogramming your brain. We're reprogramming your body of how it moves. We're reprogramming your brain in terms of how it thinks and being aware of how it reacts to things. Because like you said, those patterns that are there that come within nanoseconds without even thinking about it, we want to gain that awareness to say, wait, pause, take a deep breath. I have a choice in how I respond versus fire back and react.
Oh yeah, and the two words of reacting and versus responding are two entirely different things. Responding is choosing and consciously being aware of, okay, this is how I want to respond to the situation. And a lot of the time it's taking a breath. And if that means like 5 minutes before you respond, or
I
5 days,
that.
yeah, or 5 weeks or 5 years, like give yourself that time so that you're not repeating the patterns. Because the more we just react like that, you're just making that brain pattern, that energetic pattern, like thicker, deeper, like the Grand Canyon. It's like ancient, and then that's even harder to snap out of. So what I've noticed with my clients is that the process of rewiring ourselves and repatterning ourselves and moving through that, like what you were explaining, is really just difficult for the first, if you're really diligent, for the first 21, 33 days or so, if you're super consistent. And then after that, something kind of flips, and then it's so much easier. Still have to practice it, but way easier. So I always like to tell people that sometimes when people hear about this, it can be so overwhelming. And so it causes them to sort of retreat back to themselves. But really, it's a lot easier. And when you have support, like the beautiful coaches and healers that are out there, it's a lot more gentle and a smoother process.
As you're speaking, the one example that comes back is I work with athletes, and athletes have very strong patterns of movement because they have to get the speed, they have to get the weight, depending on what they're doing. If they're constantly doing a repetitive movement, right, it's very ingrained into their body. Well, if that pattern is not solid, it starts wearing and tearing the body. For an athlete, actually, where we have to start is we kind of have to unlearn the bad habits before we can put the new ones in. So frequently, even though athletes are a lot more body aware, what we find is that to do that reprogramming, like wipe up the clean board before you can put the new code inside, it takes longer time to do. And that goes exactly to what you do. If you do the same thing repetitively, you're reinforcing those patterns. Well, when you're 50, 60, it's a lot harder to change those patterns when you're 20, 30, or even a kid. Like, why are our kids not being taught that? Imagine, like, I'm thinking like, wow, if I learned this like 20 years earlier, what would my life look like today?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just got chills. I think that's a lot of, I hear that so often of like, if I had just known this earlier on, what would my life look like? Because I like, we're in this sort of like, this word might be, or two terms might be a little triggering, but we're in this like factory farming type of living where it's like we're not really given choice. We're just sort of like, this is what everyone did, and this is what you do, and you go to school, and then you do this, and it's like we're just being processed like an assembly line, like next, right? So that really keeps us trapped and caged. And I remember a large part of my journey was moving against the grain of that and rebelling against that part of my life so hugely. And at an age where it was earlier enough, but I didn't have as much confidence to really go against the grain. But I did it anyways because something inside of me just said, this doesn't make sense. But yeah, so a lot of people, I just wish and I hope that part of my experience and intention with giving the world and my clients is just helping people realize that sooner and teaching it at a much younger age, so that everyone finds the freedom that they deserve. That's what it comes down to.
Well, I think at the end of the day, we all get onto our journey whenever we are ready to. And I believe that when you're ready, the teacher appears. I know that has certainly been true in my case. And perhaps, and I know because I know how some of my experience that I've taken to, I want to call it my past life, prior life, is now serving me. So I'm sure there is a reason why I went through that path. It just makes you wonder. And another very strong word you use is intuition. And I think that's, again, not something that we are taught. We have common sense and we have intuition. Which one do you follow? I would say traditionally the world teaches us to follow common sense, logic,
Yeah.
rather than intuition. And frequently our intuition is scary. You said you didn't have the confidence because you hear the feedback from all around. It's unconventional what you want to do. And it's scary to poke your head out of the box and be like, is it safe out there? What do you tell people who have that urge, that intuition, they feel it inside, but they're like, no, I can't do it. What do you say?
Oh my gosh, I just start asking them questions of why it's so important to them and what's holding them back. And then as we start to answer those questions and more importantly dig super deep into what's holding them back, because it really falls back into what's in the subconscious. What are these voices that are telling how were they socialized? So once we sort of dive deep in there and take those voices and kind of break them down, then I say, okay, well, here's your choice. You can continue to listen to those and see how they serve you, or we can start to create new ones that give you everything you want, because it's possible, right? If you're a magnet and you're the creator of your life, then it's more than possible to live the life that you want, that dream. And that's really your soul and your spirit coming through to be like, this is you, this is your voice, this is your authentic truth, and your authenticity matters so much to this world and this planet. So if you're coded a certain way and someone's trying to code you another way, it's going to feel like this huge disconnect. And so from a very young age, that intuition, common sense is all here, right? Intuition is all here. And intuition in the body and the heart and the sacral chakra or the second chakra, the root chakra, that's where you pull down that ancient wisdom and that higher self and that source energy and that frequency and embody it. And that embodiment is so important to intuition and full alignment of self. So, but a lot of us are definitely caught up in our minds, and we're taught that it's nobody's fault, really.
It's, again, it goes back to creating awareness, and if you have that hinge, finding a support system to talk to and share and connect to people who have had that experience, who have trusted their intuition, and see where it has taken them. I think when you surround yourself with like-minded people who, in this case, trust their intuition and encourage you trusting your intuition, you start feeling a little bit more normal. Because if you're surrounded by people who are like, you're crazy, don't do that, it reinforces the fears that you already have.
Oh yeah, definitely. So that's another energetic law of entrainment. So energy likes to entrain with the larger energy. So if you're feeling like you a frequency of that's more elevated, but then you start hanging around with people that are more in the common sense realm or not in the same alignment as you, you'll slowly, if you spend enough time with them, you'll start to entrain with their energy, and vice versa. So if you hang out with people that are really aligned with you, but let's say like you're not, you're still learning and you still need that support group to build that confidence, to build that authenticity, you'll entrain with their energy. So your community matters so much, and it's so much a part of what I've embedded in my business and where I'm taking it. But we need community, especially in this area. We need support people. We need friends. We need people to talk to, people to learn from, and because it matters. It really elevates us.
I say that your tribe can make you or break you, which
Yes.
goes along right with what you say. All right, Natalie, do you have a piece of advice or a favorite quote you want to share with us?
I think back to what we were first saying was just be super intentional. Light that candle, get the incense. That's what I do. I start my day every day like that. How do I want my day to look? How do I feel? How do I want to feel today? And anything I want to achieve or any frequency I wanna embody, I start every day like that. And I talk to myself and I lean on my community, the energy around me, to make that happen. So just be super intentional and be super aware, and you'll change your life.
Yeah. It sounds so simple, right?
Yeah, but humans complicate things. It's actually very.
I was talking to a client this morning we were talking about decisions. And I said, yeah, humans, we can get into our way like that. And he goes, and we are the only ones, right? And I was like, yep, we are, from all of nature. That gift of decision making is not always serving us to our highest self.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Natalie, what is your definition of rebellious?
Oh, wow. Embodying my life is just sticking to your authentic self and your truth, regardless of what society tells you or people close to you tell you. Just be a rebel and gift yourself with your own authenticity.
Gift yourself your own authenticity. I like the word gift that you use there. Natalie, where can people find you, follow you, social media, websites?
Yes, so I have my website, that's nataliekehren.com. From there, my Instagram is natalie.kehren. That's where I live. And you can find more energy updates and beautiful healing products that I sell, and so much more.
Awesome. Natalie, thank you so much for the insightful conversation. Totally enjoyed this. Like I said, I am a sucker for energy, like my husband says, you're a sucker for energy, and I talk energy. I believe energy. I have seen how me choosing to be intentional about my energy has changed my life. So I'm very much on board with everything that we talked about. Rebels, if you have any questions for Natalie, please let us know. You know where to follow her. Please do so, and let us keep expanding that tribe of consciously aware people who are transforming their lives, and as a result, transforming the lives spilling over to the lives around us. So thanks again, Natalie, and thank you guys for checking in. Do remember to stay rebellious. See you next time. Did you enjoy the conversation? Like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Want to redefine your success equation to include a healthy body and a healthy mind? Check out our website at rebellious-studio.com.